afternoon, and welcome to another segment of Let's Get Real. Today, we are talking about metanoia and exactly what are your idols. So, today we're joined by Ray Gray, who came in, gave us a wonderful explanation as to why our mental health is what it is and how we can do things to make it better. We've joined by Mike and Pamela Lindo. We have Andre Anderson on, our tech person. Can't see his face, but he's there. And I'm joined with my daughter, Corinne. I'm your host, Sonia Woodard. And we're going to get right into this. We're sorry we're a few minutes late, but we had a few things going on. Welcome, Dasha. So we are supposed to have Pastor Newton joining us, but he's kind of in transit, so he's going to try to jump in if he can. If he can't, then we're going to forge on. But I'm going to ask Michael if he would start us out with prayer, and then we'll get into this thing.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's bow our heads for prayer. Lord, we thank you for guiding and protecting us to see another day today. Thank you for keeping us on the good and narrow path. We ask you to guide us, protect us. Watch the words that we say. Let our thoughts be taken into consideration nicely. And we ask you that whatever we say to your name's honor and glory is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. We're going to start out with, I want Brother Gray to come in and give us an overview as to how the pandemic has affected some of us mentally and spiritually through this pandemic that is ongoing.
Peace and blessings, everyone. So, Sonia, you're just gonna get right into it, huh? You're just gonna hit them heavy. You're not gonna layer it up, no icing on the cake. You're just gonna hit them from the gate. Yo, Mike, you sure she's not from New York, son?
No, she got New York tendencies, so she.
I tell you, boy, she's not playing.
She'll hit him hard.
Right.
I got family from there, so
I could tell. There's no short stops here. All right, well, peace and blessings once more, family. And I love the fact that we have dubbed this talk Real Talk, because that's the only talk that I know. And as we are engaging in this time and space that we're living in, mental health, as we all know, is real. And you know what's funny about it? If you claim you have not been affected by mental health, you're living under a rock. Because whether it is directly affected you personally or a family member, you know someone or have been on the opposite end of someone who's struggling with some mental health one way or another. And here's the thing. Sister Sonia, people always get in their feelings and they'll be like, oh, no, I don't got no mental health issues. But they don't realize that mental health is different from mental illness. So, yes, we get a little defensive when someone tells you got a mental illness. I get it. But if you're living, if you're breathing, you have mental health, just like you have physical health. So what mental health basically is a nutshell, is the ability to take care and manage one's mind and how things affect us both internally and externally. So during this time of the pandemic and all that we're dealing with and the war now, I have kids. My last session was with a 9-year-old. And my 9-year-old is having anxiety about going to war. 9 years old. So this is something that is very real. And like I said earlier, there is no one that I know of that is not affected one way or another. Mental health issues, mental illnesses are up. Divorce is up. Substance abuse is up. Domestic violence is up. My kids harming, self-harm, suicidal ideation, and attempts are up. So it's just a time right now that is extremely crucial. And what's amazing about what Daughters of Zion is doing right now at a time like this, we need more of it. If you guys are listening, bring this to your churches, through your organizations, through your agency. I don't care. I have literally started a branch of my training, my physical training, called Mental Health in Sports, because I literally found that it was difficult to engage my athletes physically without tapping into their mental health and checking in with them. How you doing? What's going on? Where are you? And once we're there and we dump and we open up that place and they understand that it's a safe environment for them to share, man, it's a wrap. You know, I can get much more and get in a lot more once they're able to understand that if I'm angry, I can hit this ball or I can bang this weight and I can let it out right then and there. And while they're working out, they're literally having tears coming down from the thoughts of what they're going through and from letting it out in a safe environment. So we are really at a space and a time, Sister Sonia, brother Mike, and Sister Pam. And it's just serious right now. We really have to understand that each and every one of us are affected with mental health. And if we try to deny the fact that we are affected, we're lying to ourselves, and it's only making the issues worse. Especially my Black brothers and sisters, we got to really just admit the fact that I am suffering, and we have to seek help. And most certainly, and even if it's in a small group, just be able to let it out. I encourage journaling. That's my number one go-to intervention suggestion, is to journal. Just get it out onto paper. Paper don't lie. Paper ain't gonna talk back to you, but it's a way for you to vent. It's a way for you to get it out. And once you see your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions on paper, hopefully and prayerfully, it'll begin to help you to understand, man, this is heavy. I got to do something about this. And that's one such way for us to get help before we even are brave enough to pick up the phone and ask for someone to step into our personal lives and talk about us.
Real talk, real talk. Well, I really appreciate you giving us that overview, because a lot of people think mental illness, like you said, is mental health, and it's not. And we have to make the differences. And especially as Black people, we tend not to take care of our mental health because we keep everything bottled up. Can't let this person know. We got to do better. So I want to segue into a lot of people have mental health issues, mental health challenges. I want to be clear about how I frame this, because of a lot of things we idolize. We don't even realize that we're making things into idols, and we have to be really careful about doing that, because it's a sin. It's a sin. So it's like, what are your idols? What are the challenges you're having? I was speaking kind of sort of last week when not was it last week? Okay. When I was talking, I'm getting confused with so many, programs, different programs. But, I was saying that I don't choose to wear jewelry because of the fact that it will become an idol for me. I was explaining that I wear this because this is my medical alert tag. So if I fall out, people will at least be able to say, oh my gosh, I have that information readily on me. But I don't wear jewelry because I'm not going to be modest. I'm going to be, and I know this. And when you know that about yourself, there's certain things you stay away from. If you know you got a problem with looking at sister such and such, you need to be careful. Feel free to jump in here if you want to talk about your idol. But I know that I would be out of control with bangles. Everybody has to know their idols.
That's a good question. I don't even know what mine is, to be real. Mike, what about you, bro?
I know that years ago I was living in Brooklyn, living at home. I had an idol and didn't even know I really had it until I went through it. My idol was clothes, and I love suits. I love shirts, dress shirts, things like that. Basically, that was basically at that time in my teenage years. And what happened is that my mom at that time, we had a fire in our apartment building, in our house apartment actually, and the fire was contained to my room. Didn't go no place else. But what happened when the fire was electrical fire, the spark in the wall, and it when I came back after put out, came back and I looked, I was like, my clothes. Wow. All of my clothes, my suits, my bed, my closet, everything is black and sooted. And I had no clothes. I was like, that's the first thing I said. I didn't even say, thank you, Lord, for making me not being at home at the time. Thank you for making me save my mom. The first thing I said was, my clothes. Wow. And the Lord opened my eyes and said, you see, I told you, don't put nothing in front of me that you will make it your God. And
So now let me ask you, Mike, is an idol something that you do a lot of, but you can let go? Like I'm with you. I like clothes. I'm a sneakerhead. I got over 100 pairs of shoes and sneakers, 120 or so. And I like how it looks on it. But if it burnt up, if someone stole it, if someone stepped on it, I'll be in my feelings for a second. But I'm not trying to fight nobody. I ain't trying to kill nobody. I'm good. So if I have a lot of it and I like it a lot, but I'm okay to part with it, could that still be my idol? Because as you started talking, I'm like, dude, I like to dress for real too. And I definitely like sneakers. What do you think?
If you let it go, but you gotta remember if you let it go, but what you put in place of it, you have to know what you put in place. It could be another idol, could be another place, another idol. But you have to make sure and put God first in front of that, what could be potential idol.
Oh, Mike trying to act all cute over here. Don't try it.
Hold on, Brooklyn. Hold on, Brooklyn.
Ready to duke it out.
Yo, hold on, Brooklyn. Hold on. We keeping it real. We keeping it real, sis.
Don't try it.
You know what I'm saying? But see, the way I'm
would have been ready to throw down if somebody had come trying to take one of them. If I was wearing my jewelry.
Holla. Let me tell you like this. Back then, I was different. When I was a child, think as a child. When I became a man, put a man things. So my mindset was different back then. That's why I said the first thing I said, my clothes. I'm like, now I have clothes, but I'm like, it's not as important to me as that back then. So now I knew what to put in this proper place, so that now I've grown, I've matured. So that way I've seen, and I told it to my kids, I said, hey, make sure what you put in front of God, because easy get, easy come, easy go.
Okay, Pamela, you've been mighty quiet over there. What's your idol? What do you have to monitor yourself about?
I'm not sure. I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Sure. Well, since you think go ahead.
No, she asked
you. Since you all,
we keep it real. No, since she asked you. So go tell it.
Since you know, go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you right how it is. TV. She got season 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 is NCIS.
Oh wow.
And it's like, it's not on TV box, it's in her hand and her phone. NCIS, Hawaii, New York, LA, Miami. And I'm like, did you solve any crimes lately?
Wow.
Did you hate your local police force in solving crime? They come to you.
Oh, you are showing out today, Michael.
Ye shall tell the truth, and it shall set me free. Okay.
So, Pam, here's the question. So, if you could not see one of the NCIS, would that be very hard for you?
No, I'm pretty cool.
Did it for me? Yes.
I'm pretty cool with not seeing, but I think for me, my idol would be, if I'm thinking about it, I like music. I like music. So, TV, it's okay. TV thing is because when I was young, my mom was poor and we didn't have a TV. So everybody says you live in America, or you should have. No, my mom was poor. We didn't have a TV. So for me now, as I'm growing, I get to watch TV. When I didn't get to watch it back then, I watch it now. So for me, it's one of those, it's a kind of a thing that it's something that when you didn't get to have, you didn't get to watch, you watch it a lot now. That is, right. And now that you can tell me, I can watch it in my hand and I can go with it, it's on. But for me, my idol would be, I guess, my music, because I like to still listen to all, and I'm not going to say just music. I like to listen to all kind of music, and I'm an island person. I like to listen to my Spanish, because that's my culture. So I'm pretty much versatile in my music
and her reggae.
And right, and I am. So you come to my car one day, you hear some Bob Marley or you hear some reggaeton, and somebody's looking at it like, So I'm not one. I'm not going to say, because
how are we so let's get back to the actual title. So the metanoia is when you come to a spiritual place and you make that change for God. So when you become, you get through the metanoia and you have that spiritual change, what are we giving up for God? Because this is what we're talking about. What sacrifices, what do we put away that becomes that idol that interferes with us and God? Whether it be the music, the television. Andre, you mighty quiet. We might not be able to see your face because of your situation with your camera. But I need to hear from you, Mr. Andre. Let's go.
I thought you forgot about me for a bit.
No, I was coming to you, but I needed to get to that spiritual part first.
Okay. Well, in terms of idols and, putting things away for God, the Bible talks about, I was once a child, and when I was a child, I did childish things, but now I'm a man, and I put away those childish things. Yeah, that's a bit difficult for me. I haven't changed since I was a child. I've been the same guy for forever and always. So there are certain things that I learned.
All along with that, Andre, now.
Okay.
Well, how can you say you didn't change? There's certain things you had to change. When you were a child, you didn't work.
But the thing is, actually, that I didn't have a paying job.
Okay.
I still had to do stuff. I didn't have a 9-to-5 job, correct?
So are you saying chores are working?
Is it not?
No. No.
You're contributing to the household.
You right. You're putting into the household that you live in that you need to.
Dude, we do chores.
I also had to plant the garden when I was asked to. I had to help fix things around the house. I've been doing handyman work. I've been helping, deal with plumbing issues. I had to learn that stuff. So now that I got older.
Oh, I know.
But isn't all of this stuff like benefiting you in a way too? So I don't really see that as a job because it's benefiting you. You're reaping the benefits of it too.
Yeah, but I kind of see what you're saying, Andre. So Andre is in a different place than some of us as children. A lot of us as children literally got to be, it sounds like you grew up a little faster than others. You had more responsibility. You took on more of the male adult role in your household. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. As did I, so I can relate. But I mean, it was definitely work. But like you said, Sister Sonia, it's still part of your upkeep. That's my way of paying rent, washing dishes, making dinner sometimes. And, I was at the time, the second youngest. So we had like a pecking order, like the oldest take it, the oldest will take it out. So, I had my little younger brother who's 2 years younger than me. So I had to manage him to some degree. But my sister, who's 2 years older than her, she had to keep me in line. So, yeah, it is work. But like you said, Corinne, that's also part of, what you're supposed to do. Like, who gets paid for brushing your teeth, combing your hair, and taking a shower? That you got to do that. You can say that that's work too, but you benefit from that. And you having to upkeep the house, you also benefit because now mom can come home less tired and having to do all the other stuff and cook dinner and different things. So I see it as dual role.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of how you haven't changed, I want to know more about that because we have all evolved in one way or another. So I'm curious to hear how you feel like you have remained the same as a child.
The only difference between me as a child versus now, really, I would say I've become a little bit more. I've become a lot more cynical. And that's through the knowledge I've gained. Now, other than that, I've maintained basically the same personality. I see things the exact same way I saw as a child. Like, look, there's certain people that you deal with, certain people you don't deal with.
But you had to have grown, evolved, matured, and wisdom set in.
How's that?
You don't think when you were 6, you only knew maybe half the times table. When you turned 12, you knew the entire timetable.
Right.
Even in that little moment, as insignificant as it may seem, that's growth. Then you
knowledge,
get knowledge.
I understand that, but for me, knowledge is not the same thing as wisdom.
You're right, but we're not comparing the two, and I agree, because you can get knowledge in a book, you cannot get wisdom in a book. You can get
Correct.
knowledge in the classroom, your wisdom comes through life and experience. I get that, but the two must coexist.
Correct.
Right. So as we agree to that, then you have to also say that with your knowledge came wisdom, and with your wisdom came growth, development, because you're not at the same developmental stage.
No.
So with that comes automatic, whether you try to acquire knowledge or not, it happens through life. Am I making a little bit of sense?
I get what you're saying. Basically, you're saying that because I've gained that knowledge, I have grown with that.
Absolutely.
Well, that's how you became cynical, because you said that.
But not only that, because even if our idol is to watch TV, and my mom may not have had a TV in the time of me growing up, eventually I got a TV. But in getting the TV, she also showed me how to do things in moderation. I had to do my homework before I could get to do things. It was all a time situation that you have to learn to do and grow. Each one of us, right, Counselor Ray, that we all have to grow somewhere in our life to understand what our idol is.
That is absolutely correct. And remember, knowledge growth takes place both consciously and subconsciously.
Right.
So even when you're not trying the optics, and in seeing, we are retaining information that's being lodged in the back of our mind, ready to be used at a moment's notice. Like, you may not have learned the art of karate, but if someone sneaks up and taps you on it, you may just do that just from watching Karate Kid, or just from just your natural instinct of fight, flight, freeze, the amygdala and all of those things that kick in, and different things. You weren't specifically taught how to block at a certain pace in a certain time, or duck when a ball is thrown at you in dodgeball, and different things like that. It's what you've learned through optics. I have what this thing called reverse learning, where my dad did so many things that were not okay that I learned in reverse. So everything he did, I'm purposed to do the opposite. And that's how I grew. That's how I learned. That's how I developed. So he would hit with my mom, and I was just like, I don't like how that looks. I don't like how it feels. So I never in my life laid a hand on a woman ever, and different things of womanizing and drinking and different things, never in my life. So those were two learning lessons for me too. So Andre, based on your level of knowledge and information, would you say that that's learning? Is that knowledge? Is that wisdom? What would you say that was?
Yeah, I would say that is learning and knowledge and wisdom. But at the same
Beautiful.
time, it's like, I guess, but you still, at a very young age, it's not like you were going, oh, well, I think that's actually okay. And then as you got older, you decided, oh, wait, no, that's actually not okay.
But children do not understand complexly what is right from wrong until it is embedded over and over and over. Because think about abused children, who they think that, hey, mommy touched me, daddy touched me, they loved me, they protected me, they brought me into this world, so it must be okay. And I have so many individuals on my caseload that feel like, well, if they did it and they loved me, then it must be okay. And I can't tell them otherwise, even to this day, as grown and old with knowledge and wisdom and information as they are. What were you going to say, Dre?
No, I was saying that, you're right.
Yeah. So Sasanya, back to your whole point on how do we tie that into versus God? Even though I would like to think that I'm evolved and more seasoned, I'm still trying to figure out what my idol is, because everything I do, I'll either do it or not. I either won't do it, or I'll go do it 100%. Like, you're not going to ask me to present unless I know I'm going to give you 100.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to take on a job unless I know I'm going to give it 100. I'm not going to get into a relationship, and I only had 3 in my lifetime, and I married my 3rd, unless I know I'm going to give it 100. So I stay away and I avoid. So when my dress game, killer. It's on fleek. It's on 12. My shoe game is immaculate. You see what I'm saying? I mean, and like when I used to dance and like Sister Pam, me and her probably been to a couple of clubs. We didn't even know it together. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, because I'm a dancer too. You know what I'm saying? I love to get it in. So I'm either not gonna do it or do it 100. So does that mean I have to be careful because music I like, dancing I like, clothing I like, shoes, and I do it a lot. And working, I work 80 hours a week. Some because I have to, and others because I really, really enjoy it. That's my passion and my purpose aligned. Do I have to be careful, Sister Sonia?
Well, if you are willing to put whatever you're doing in front of God, Michael, did you say something over there?
No, I'm laughing at Angel's comment about he needs a camera. You need to see Andre camera.
Soon, Angel. Soon.
I need Andre to get a camera because I need to see him. Then Errol said, wisdom is obtained through God. So
Okay.
Andre, you're gonna work on that. Okay, amen.
Yeah, we got to work on his camera. But I found that we all have our moments where we start kind of moving away. And I challenge Andre. There's some time when you had some different thoughts from maybe your parents and you did your own thing. And that is part of growing. You kind of test the waters. I don't care if it was like, well, she told me not to drink this, and I'm still gonna drink the last bit of this drink, or just take enough. Because my cousins used to do that. They used to go. My aunt would say, "Don't drink the juice." They go and drink some of the juice and then fill it up with water. So I'm not gonna call it a name, Steve. But anyway, yeah, they used to do that kind of stuff. and every time, you bet not tell. I'm like, oh, it's terrible. But anyway,
Sonia,
those are some of the things.
Let me interject this. When you just said, I used to do that when I was young because my mom said, don't drink the juice. Right. I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna say this. I may be biased. I think when our generation, we were more, I won't say knowledge, you were smarter because I knew the cover. My mom said, don't drink the juice because I know where it's at. So I said, oh, you know where it's at? So I used to look at the bottle, see where it was at, where it was high, low. So I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna drink some juice, take it to the head, and I put some water back in and fill it back up and just turn it around so she won't taste the water in it. So I was like, I know how to cover. These kids nowadays, they just drink it and put it back. So they don't know how to cover. They don't know nothing.
No, they're defiant.
Right.
They're defiant.
Right.
And there's a difference between trying to cover because you don't want to necessarily openly disobey your parents. These kids are just open. This is what it is. Look at Corinne back here going, because she used to say, well, I knew I was going to get in trouble, so I figured I might as well do it. And my thing is, no, that's the wrong attitude, ma'am. No, that's the wrong attitude. No, Ray Gray did not put his.
I mean, if I'm gonna get a beating, I might as well make it worth it. So if I'm gonna go hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was about to ask why that's not the way to do it. Like,
I'll either go.
If you're gonna do it, then you do it,
or I'm gonna do it to the best, and I will keep going to place to place until I have fun, or until it's worth it. Like if I'm gonna get in trouble, I'm gonna get in trouble. That's just me.
Well, I can't see. That's why I couldn't really get too upset with her because I said that was definitely me. I know my parents would say, yeah, because I was like, okay, I'm already gonna get in trouble. Oh, might as well live it up, But I always tried to do what my parents wanted me to do and try to be that person, unlike some of these kids.
Yeah, but see, you realize I was that child.
Yes.
That I would try to do what you asked me to do. I would try. But when I feel like I'm being called out and everybody else, you're just doing the same thing, but I'm the only one. Oh, best believe I'm going to give you exactly what you're asking for. So when you come back and tell her, she's like, yep, she did that. Yep.
Because I know her. But here's my point, which I keep trying to tell Corinne. Well, I was trying to tell Corinne. I haven't had those issues now. But my problem with these kids is the fact that I don't care what Tommy and Jenny did down the street. You don't live at their house. You live at my house. And so it's my rules. And I think that even as young adults who are living in their parents' house, they need to still be respectful and to realize that's your parents' house. When you kick in and you pay half the mortgage and you pay half the lights and water and let me tell you about the insurance. The insurance is, especially in Florida, it's outrageous how much insurance we're paying. Don't tell me if you have Citizen, I'm praying for you. But you don't know what comes with being grown until you're grown. And so, Andre, that's why I'm kind of stuck on what you said. The responsibilities you had as a child, even though they may have been more and you took on more of the responsibility, it's still not the same as being that adult having to stand in that gap and be responsible for everybody.
You say
it's
grown.
different.
You say grown. For me, just transitioning from elementary into middle school was a huge thing. I was just like, oh my gosh, like it's different. Middle school is different from high school. Like even the experiences that you go through in life, like even if your mom told you don't touch the iron because it's hot, you know now not to touch the iron. Why? Because it's hot. It's going to burn you. So I had to disagree with you on that one because I feel like
it's different.
Every stage of life is different. And I'm not going to say stage of life. Every age is different.
Yes.
How does that change your personality, though?
Because you grow, Andre.
You
have to change.
No. Oh,
the same.
How does that change your personality?
By you growing. I know Ray not about to chime in on this one. Okay, as I got older, okay, I am who I am. Okay, you are who you are. But there are certain things that we find out about ourselves as we grow that we say, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to do this. And okay, you've never been married, okay? But in marriage, when you marry somebody when you're 25, you're not the same person when you're 32, Andre. I don't care. You grow in things that you like. You evolve in just the way you cut your hair or the clothes that you choose. There's a change in your maturity, in knowledge, in things that have happened to you.
Even your values.
Yeah, even your values tend to change. If they don't, that's something you might want to look at.
So there's these things called personality traits.
Thank you.
And you pick up different parts of it as you evolve, as you grow, but you also drop. Your character, however, is the only thing. Think about it. The only thing we take to us to heaven when we go is your character. Right? Is that not right?
Right.
So what I'm saying, but in terms of different personalities, so you're asking the question, what about your personality? That can change through environment, because if you are grown and if you are in a household where your parents are abusive, you're grown to naturally protect yourself. You're grown to naturally be a little bit, you know what I'm saying, cautious, overly cautious than the average. But if you grow up in an environment where everything was loving and hunky-dory and hugging and, really emotional, you tend to have that type of personality or those personality traits or what have you. But as you grow and your character is developed, that is something entirely different, the different personality traits that you pick up as you move on and as you evolve. So there's this thing called a personality assessment, where it's suggested that every 2 years after the age of 18, you do it, because we change and we evolve. For example, I used to be a teacher back when I was living in DC. As a teacher, I tested as a sanguine choleric. Sanguine is the outgoing, the bubbly, the personality, the life of the party. The choleric is the one who has to delegate or is bossy, a little bit on the controlling side, because I had to stand in front of the class and demand that the kids listen to me, demand that the kids did their homework, demand that the kids did X, Y, and Z. Years later, now that I am a therapist, I tested sanguine phlegmatic. Phlegmatic is the laid back, the one who assesses, would walk into a room and stand in the corner and just figure everyone out and just gaze the room. They're really calm, relaxed, and laid back. As a therapist, I have to. I can't be bossy. I can't overtalk. I have to listen more than I speak, as opposed to when I was a teacher, I had to speak more than I listened. So that changed my personality, my character, who I was innately me. If you notice, sanguine, that never changed. So from the core me of the sanguine, and we have the primary and the secondary. My primary me is sanguine. The
That's what I'm talking
secondary
about.
are the personality traits that I picked up based on the environment, situation, and trauma that happens.
That's what I'm talking about, though.
You see what I'm saying? So I guarantee you, the first time I met you, if I would have given you a personality assessment then versus one now, you would be different. You would not be the same in just the 2 short years since I've seen you. Absolutely not.
Let me read a couple of comments. Errol King says, when you were under punishment in his house, oh boy, you would have to get into the program, and I ain't talking about no whipping. Marie Washington says, life experiences change you and your personality. So let me ask you this quick question, maybe change a little direction. Could lifestyle be idol?
Absolutely.
Some of these people, yes.
Yes. Because and we're talking about the spiritual change. When we become the metanoia, when we do the metanoia, when I decided that I wanted to be baptized and join the church, there was a change that came about me. I'm telling you, I always pray, God, take me back to the time when I first believed. Because when I believed as a child, I believed with my whole heart, my soul, everything. And the outlook, you couldn't tell me anything. But life tends to beat you down, and you tend to question certain things that maybe you shouldn't. But it isn't until God takes you through that and makes you over and gives you the strength to move on. It's how you move on. Whether you move on positively or terribly be a cynic, like you're saying, Andre, as far as I'm so cynical about life. You have to choose every day how you're going to feel. And I choose to wake up and say, thank you, God, because you didn't have to wake me up today. I could be dead.
And if you think about it, Sister Sonia, his cynicism came from an experience, like you said.
Correct. And that's what I'm trying to get Andre to see. Because
But what I'm saying is, okay, so you remember how you were saying that your basic character hasn't changed from the time that you were a teacher versus the time that you were a therapist.
The primary me, correct.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. Yes, obviously you're going to have to change the method of how you present yourself in different situations. You might need to change the way you think a little bit in certain situations. The way that you approach things.
A lot of it, not a little bit, a lot of it.
But at the end of the day, you are still the same person.
I'm not the same. Let me just be honest. I'm not the same person that I used to be, because
I'm not saying that you haven't changed. I'm not saying that it's not impossible for you to change. What I'm saying is, I'm giving you an example that why I feel that I haven't changed is because even after all of my life experience, one of the reasons why I become so cynical is because from when I've been a young person, I've always been trying to figure out, okay, what is the truth of this matter? How do I find out more? Right? Mm-hmm. And I've always been that way. I'm still that way because I want to know more. Now, with that knowledge, I'm thinking, okay, well, let me go and approach it in a little bit more judgmental way. Right? Let me approach this certain topic maybe in a more feeling way, because this situation requires me to react in this way. That is gained through knowledge. However, my opinions on certain matters, my general feel of certain matters has not changed.
I want to think. I'm not the counselor here, but Andre, you need to sit on somebody's counsel chair. Okay, I'm just gonna be blunt with you. I don't know why he's not talking up, but let me just get it out. See, that's the old me. That's the old me that used to be so frank, would tell people how it is. And it probably will hurt your feelings, but not meaning to hurt your feelings. But I'm just telling you how I see you at this point. But the newer me, because I've grown in Christ, right, Brother Ray?
That's right.
I've learned to try to be more softer.
And she holding back more too.
Because I'm sitting going, why's nobody telling this man he need to be sitting on somebody's chair? And I say that because we all
need to sit in
need to sit on somebody's chair, because we all have issues that we don't even think that we have. That's the thing about it. We don't think we have issues, but we do. And we need to be real and I think, Brother Ray, I think when I grew up, and when your parents, you say to your parents, man, I'm not feeling good today, I'm just having a bad day. Your mother say, girl, you better get it together and straighten it up and fly right.
You still
you just heard those words, but they didn't give you that time to wallow because you had no time to.
Yeah, you didn't have time to be in your feelings. You had feelings, but you didn't have time to be in your feelings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't have time to wallow and cry, and men didn't cry, and if you did, we were sissies. You see what I'm saying? Now we're encouraging men to cry as much as they need to and get it off their chest, and everything has flipped. The generations have flipped, and so on and so forth. I mean, if you think about it, back in the days, the number one individuals who made clothes were women. Now it's men.
Men,
yes. Number one cooks were women. Now it's a man. Let's talk about hair. The number one people who did hair was a woman. Now it's Paul Mitchell. You see what I'm saying? Like, everything is changing right before our eyes. But why should we be surprised or shocked? Because doesn't the Bible tell us, that our children and generations to come is going to get worse than even Sodom and Gomorrah? I didn't think that I could imagine it. But I told you guys one time, and since we're going to keep it a buck right now, I had a girl not too long ago that was having relations with her dog at 8 years old. You see what I'm saying? Now, this was a couple years ago. Now, if going by Andre's theory of we haven't changed, she didn't see too much wrong in that. Now, if she's the same and, wisdom and knowledge and all of that, but the core her is still the same, does that mean that she now, with all this knowledge and wisdom and education, should she still now think that that is okay? Because that is what she was used to doing, because she was once molested, and that in the absence of the abuser, she finds something else to take that place. Like, Brother Andre, we have to change and evolve with information and with the environment and different dynamics. And again, I hear what you're saying, but in this setting, it's not gonna be enough time, nor, you know what I'm saying, we don't want to cut everyone else out in our conversation. But going back to what Sister Sonia originally penned, where how do we take those issues and put them before God? I do realize within me that I do spend more time at work than I do in my Bible. But should be no but. However, when it's time for me to go hard for the Lord, I go in. But if we were to sit there and compare hour for hour, there is no comparison. I do way more in work. So now what you have challenged me, Sister Sonia, to do is find out what that idol is. Because if it wasn't for the bills and the different things that my mind, because I have a set age that I plan on retiring. I asked God to allow me to retire by a certain age, and he has not yet told me no. So I'm working hard now so I can play hard later. So if it wasn't for that goal and that vision, I'll be okay with walking away from one of my sources of income to make certain that I did whatever X, Y, and Z. And I would be okay with that. I'm okay with burning my clothes. I'm okay with donating my shoes to the homeless. And I've done several times. I'm wearing J's and I go out to feed the homeless. I literally take them off my feet and I give it to them. And I walk around barefoot. I literally do bow tie, literally ask any one of my kids. So that must not, I'm still trying to struggle with that, Sister Sonia, if that might still be a low-key idol, because I definitely spend more time in clothes than I do in the word. So now I'm challenging myself to figure out what's that one thing that would really be hard for me to part. And that just might be my idol. And I'm challenging everyone else who's listening. If you're stuck like me and don't know what that one thing might be, ask yourself, what is that thing that's hard to let go? And money maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to figure myself out.
Right. But I mean, but we all have those idols. And when we make that decision to follow Christ, how are we willing to get rid of those things that so easily beset us? Because it's easy. I'll find myself, I'm like, I've been at work since 7:30. Oh my goodness. Here it is coming up on 6 o'clock, but I've only spent maybe 10 minutes in my word for the day. So I have to challenge myself to sometimes even take a break and reflect and just whisper a prayer, or just stop, take a mental health moment and talk to God, because I'm giving so much, like you said, pay the bills, try to make ends meet, and you have responsibilities as adults, and we forget about God. So trying to look at that, and then what you give away when you make those choices. Me, I found that my best thing is to give of my time, because if I give of my time doing God's work, it keeps me in the realm of God, and I'm doing this work to show someone else to Christ. Okay, so that's my takeaway for what I give away to the master, even though I know I'm challenging myself to do better, to give time back to just spending time with him, me and him, so that I can get better in my word.
Corinne, what was yours? I don't know if I heard what Corinne's was. I know you nodded to Sister Pam in music, but what is that one thing that might even trump music for you?
TV, honestly. I had a really bad problem with reality shows. I watched all the Love and Hip Hops, I watched all the Housewives. Like, it was just I gotta can't miss it. Oh, we got to hurry up and get home before it comes on. And she actually pointed that out to me, that I was having an obsession. So I was just like, oh my, like I'm really bad. And I just had to slowly but surely just cut one off. Okay, I'm gonna stop watching this one. Okay, I'm gonna stop watching this one until I finally have weaned myself in crime shows. I can sit there and watch a jail show for an entire day and have no problems with it. Like, I love that kind of stuff to watch. And I had to really pull myself back on it, because I was like, I really am going down this rabbit hole of just being obsessed with it. So I had to learn to find a balance with it. I'll watch it sometimes still, but not like I used to, because I know it was becoming my life,
her idol. So I challenged her. I said, Corinne, we're going to go where there's a day where the television does not come on in this house. And so we have days where the television doesn't come on in my house at all.
That's awesome.
Okay. But Corinne has found her new idol. So the television doesn't come on. As soon as this girl is out the bed, what do you turn on?
Radio.
Music.
Radio. Yeah.
Radio, Pam. No. These kids don't do radio. Corinne has Apple Music. Okay.
Oh.
Apple Music comes on. I know when Corinne gets up, my house will be completely silent. When Corinne gets up, all you hear is music. I'm like, oh, she's up.
But I have learned with that, because I know that's a work in progress. I've learned, instead of just starting out listening to any old type of music, I start my day with worship. So I give God my time first, and then later on in the day, maybe after I eat or something, then I will go on to other type of music. And even with that, I'm more careful in what I'm listening to and what I'm taking in. I don't listen to any and everybody anymore.
Because let me tell you, I knew that, and we talked about, this is one of the things we talked about. Like, I'm pointing out these things to her, but I point those things out to myself. Sometimes I need just quiet. And I could be cleaning up and it's totally quiet. But while I'm cleaning up, or whatever, I'll find myself, your mind start drifting off the foolishness, and then I just start praying and talking to God and say, God, I need you to clear the cobwebs out of my head. Because I'll lay down, like if I've had a rough week, I'll lie down and my mind is still going. It's still going. I'm working through whatever project I have to do tomorrow and who said what. And I'm like, I don't want that. When I lie down, I want God to take over. I want him to help me. And that's something that I've been praying about. So that is one of the giveaways. And I have several questions here. What behavioral characteristics that we have that we need to move away from? So I knew moving away from the tube, music, even gospel music, even spiritual. Sometimes you have to just move away and have some silence. I know there are a lot of people saying stuff. Mike, can you run something this back, please?
I was trying to. Okay, let me just. Okay, so Angel saying, so you being cynical means you're only concerned with your self-interest, but what you describe doesn't sound like cynicism. And then she also says, or you weren't allowed to feel. You had them, but to feel them, express those feelings wasn't allowed.
That was in reference to Sister Pam saying that when we grew up, we wasn't allowed to share our feelings.
Right.
Back on it. Yep.
And then Errol says that behavior is taught. She saw that somewhere, probably on that new cell phone that had no limitations. And also says our children are being exposed to so much more. Who's responsible? Angel says ain't nothing wrong with turning music on with the praise. And she also says, Andre,
okay,
you're going to be confused about the difference between being cynical and inquisitive. Try to listen to the panel. As a Christian, your character will evolve. 2 Corinthians 5:2. I got a quick question for Corinne. Corinne, let me ask you this. When it comes to the music, right? You say you turn on the music and you're evolving now because you put on praise. Okay, cool. So after the praise is done, what type of music you go to? Is it hip hop? Is it rap? Or is it smooth music or soft music? Was it? Because I know some people like I'm guilty of that too, but I'm getting under control. We can go from one way and go straight far left. And it's like you turn on the switch. It's like wow. It's like you went from praise to and what was you listen to?
I don't go for that. I try to make a soft transition. So I'll listen to like Music Soul Child. I'll listen to older love songs. So that I'm an old head when it comes to music. So I go for the older calm music. And that's about, love and stuff like that. And then, sometimes I'll go into, my hip hop areas, but for the most part, I try to keep it calm. So the Music Soul Childs, the Anthony Hamiltons, the what's his name? Noel Gordons, the Corinne Bailey Rays. That's what I tend to gravitate to.
But like I said, all music is not bad music, but we need to be really careful and guard the avenues. And I suggest to her that you need to listen to the words, because I'm gonna tell you, I was messed up. I had really decided I'm going hard for God. I'm changing this, I'm cutting this out. And I was in the car and I was listening to what was it, like soft whatever, and soft rock or something like that. It was something where it's real calm, whatever. And this song came on by this guy named Barry Manilow. And he said, I had never listened to the words before in my life. And it said, I write the songs that make the whole world sing.
And you know where he got that from, right?
I write the song. No, I'm listening to the word. Mess me up to the point that I was like, oh no, I gotta write this down. When I get home, I gotta research what's going on. And I heard it, but I turned it off. And he said something about I was around before the world began.
Yes, he
gotta be the devil.
He got that song straight from Satan. If you watch the research on that song,
but if you got that from Satan. Words, but if you listen to the words, Mike,
yes, because I know that song.
Devil talking to me through that. So
Yes.
he put in different
Yes,
genres.
I know the song.
to
I didn't
get
know
you.
that.
And this is why I told my
Yes.
kids, you gotta listen to what you listening to. You gotta listen to the words. You gotta know who you coming from. I mean, it was. She's telling me to calm down. It was so upsetting to me until it made me literally look at what I listen to, what I take in, as far as what I look. I don't watch. I used to kind of watch scary movies, but I don't like scary movies. So I was like, so I remember when we were younger, we used to watch Barnabas Collins. I was real little. It was trust me, it's back in the early 70s. And we used to watch Barnabas Collins, and it used to be so scary to me. And I used to close my eyes, and I was like, you know what? As I got older, I realized, and this is why I was saying, Andre, you evolve. I realized that wasn't for me. I had a boyfriend of mine who had me watch with him Chucky. Not heard about Chucky, but I've never seen Chucky. That was not my realm of whatever. Angel saying something smart. Not stay you, Angel. So it was scary to me. Okay. So
did you say Chucky was scary?
Let me tell you, you should have seen me. Chucky was running, and I found myself laughing. Did Chucky kill the person? I was floored. I was like, no, I can't watch
What
Chucky.
in the world, poor baby.
Okay, so that's not my thing. But what I'm saying is, I tell shut up, Angel. So I tell them, you're not watching scary movies in my house. Because my son used to watch some of that. He and Maurice used to watch some of this crazy stuff. And I was like, don't even bring that in my house. Oh, it's dark. Who said Dark Shadows? You're right. It is. It is dark. I can't stand you, Albert. You know what I'm talking. You were watching it too. Shame. But anyway, Barnabas Collins used to creep me out. Because he come up out that coffin. Oh my goodness. We have to be careful of what, and I tell my kids, you gotta be careful of what you see, what you hear, how you speak, and that's something that I have totally been working on, and that's one of my takeaways for the metanoia and my spiritual movement, because I had to put all that stuff away, and Chucky is a mess. You, it's crazy. But anyway, Albert, if you're still watching that, I admonish you and Angel to stop it.
Don't even bring it on.
But you know what? I think one of the things I did, my listen to my dad. He said to me, he said, Mike, remember as you go throughout the day, keep a nice Christian song on your tongue. And I've been starting to do that more and more in the last 3 months, as like you said, Sonia, I'm working. And I'm going throughout the day, and I just sing a little Christian song as I go, just to calm me down, pace things, and it really relaxes me, like you said, because you got to know what you're doing and being aware of, who you're praising. You can praise, as long as you praise the Lord, you can praise Satan too. So you got to be careful. Yeah,
that's deep.
And even when you talk about that, now Ray, I don't know if you know this, but there's a artist out there who used to be on the different the little album the spiritual albums we used to have with Rance Allen on it. The Wild Gospel. See, she can read me. Okay, so on the Wild Gospel there was this artist named Tonex.
Oh yeah, he changed his name to yeah. He's a gay rapper now.
He's something else. He is completely
B Slade. He's a gay rapper pastor.
Yes.
Yeah. But he completely kind of changed some of the theology, and you got to be careful about what you're watching. Okay, start reading again because I can't see all that.
Having a technical problem, so if you can read it for me, please, Corinne.
Quentin the Werewolf and Angelique the Witch. I stopped watching it a very, very long time ago.
Who is Quentin the Werewolf? Okay, I'm totally lost with that. I thought you were going towards Quentin Tarantino because he has some very gory movies. And is that what you were talking about, Albert? Because I get away from that.
Yeah. You got to watch him.
Yeah, he
They bring
has
like
some very.
those Eastern Asian things over to the Western world.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. We got to be careful because they're getting us through media. Media is the number one thing. Even we're coming through media. We have to be careful about the mediums because the mediums will get you in trouble. We just have to guard all of the edges of our mind, our heart, and just be in our Bible more.
You know, you said something about medium. It's funny how you say that. There's a lady on on reality that she says she's a medium. And I'm sitting there going, I think I may have fell asleep and woke up and she was on my TV, and I was sitting there looking like, who's she talking to? Like, you know, you say, like, who's she talking to? You know, you hear it. And like you said, we have to really, and I got up and I was like, okay. And I said a prayer, Lord, forgive me, I fell asleep. But you know, if you're not paying attention, even then you get caught up to it. Because she was saying, I hear your grandmother talking to you. And I was like, oh, she talking to? Right. You know, so there's things that they subtly coming in with different shows. And she's a white lady. I think the show is called Medium. But that is something that, you know, we as Christians, we need to be careful, because anyone that they tell you they talking to on the other side, you better make sure who they talking to.
It's funny how they're mediums, but they can't tell about their own life.
Right. Right. Mama Montego and whatnot.
It's crazy. But also you went and said that there's a show called Medium, and there's also a show called
Satan.
Satan.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Satan has gotten so bold. He used to Lucifer. That's what it's called.
Yeah, Lucifer.
Thank you, Andre. You need to get on off of that and come on into this conversation.
I am in the conversation. We just haven't said anything. You guys talking about Barry Manilow. I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice.
But wait. The challenge angel said she can see your camera, so don't get too hoity. Okay.
You want me on my phone? Is that what it is? You want me on my phone?
Yes, come on in on the phone so we can look at your face.
So I guess we got to bring it to all audiences. I guess we can throw in a Lil Nas X.
Thank you.
Oh man,
thank you.
Since they hating on good old Barry, come on, Corinne, put us on to Lil Nas X.
I can't put you on to him, because even when he blew up, I'm not that type of person. I don't like the mainstream artists just because they're popular. I'm not that type of person. If I don't like your song, I don't like your song. But
my taste in music is like way different than everyone else's here.
He wasn't my type of artist that I enjoy listening to. So watching everything unfold, it's like, so you all have to see that somebody does something, and then you're like, oh, okay, I don't like him anymore. For me, I'm not that type of person. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like,
if it don't pull you in from the gate, you're not.
Yeah. Corinne is one of those people that marches to her own drum. And we just got to be real. But I'm going to tell you, some of us are watching. I caught this person that is close to me watching. What's that zombie show?
Walking Dead?
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. Okay. Do we not realize as Christians, we'll have no business watching anything called a Walking Dead? Come on now. I know. I was trying to drink something in my throat. Walking Dead. Okay. First of all, this is Satan. Thank you. This is Satan trying to get us accustomed to what the Bible is saying is coming. And we got to be really careful. And I'm so sad my pastor didn't make it in on this. We're going to get him next time. But we have to truly guard our mind. They were like, "Oh, it's not bad, The Walking Dead." I'm like, "No, you're not trying to." Okay, Andre, you gotta turn off the other one because you got reverb. But we have to be careful. It's another one that I'm always on my kids saying, "Oh my goodness, how could this be on TV?" I couldn't believe the Satan one was on. What? Oh, and then this is the other one. You talked about Lil Nas, Ray. Okay. There was this song. We were out like in the parking lot and these kids were playing. I said, what is that going on? And then Kareem was telling me, oh, Mom, that's this guy with Meg the Stallion. And I'm like, who is named Meg the Stallion? You know, my mom, she's laughing at me. She's like, Mom. I was like, yeah, I know I can say my age is really catching up with me. Who would name themselves Meg the Stallion?
I said the same thing 2 weeks ago. What is that?
Yes, that's ridiculous. You would even give yourself such a foolish name. So
Because
anyway,
of her build.
okay.
She's built.
So because of her build, she gave herself that name. Okay, Meg the Stallion. Apparently, this is the foolishness that's going on. Well, I'm just gonna be quick.
You know, a lot of people don't.
They were having issues with this guy saying that he shot her in the foot, and this foolishness is going back and forth, and the kids are all wrapped up in it, just like with Jesse Smollett.
Girl, we're not rapping.
You know,
We're not rapping.
Well, I'm just saying, and we are such a cancel culture. That's a whole nother story. One we're gonna have to do. This cancel culture is nothing nice. You do something that these kids don't like, you are canceled. Oh, the artist's name. What's the man's name?
I don't know who you're talking.
Meg the Stallion guy who Meg said shot her in the foot.
Tory Lane.
Tory Lanez. Okay. So Tory Lanez came back and he exposed Meg the Stallion, saying that she wanted to be in the Illuminati. And he said, I'm not selling out to the devil. He went there. And too late. And he talked about how he's not selling out, how he's going to represent himself. It's just this huge thing that is going back and forth. What did she say?
She's just saying
short for Megan.
You're saying Meg the Stallion's Megan.
Oh, it's Megan the Stallion. Forgive me, Angel. Let me correct myself. But this is the nonsense that our kids are so wrapped up into, and it's not just the kids; it's adults. Some of these people are 35 years old.
You know what, Sonia? Like how you mentioning, and Corinne knows of the people. You have some of those, like you said, some of those knows things.
Right.
I'm not saying that that's bad that you know, because even in war, when you have two forces against each other, they study each other.
Right.
To want to attack and defend. So like Corinne knows and Pam knows some of these things, and I know some of these things. It's a good thing. It's that you don't follow and worship them, right, but you know how your enemy is set up and knows how they're coming after you and your children. So it's a good thing for knowledge sense.
Yeah, and right now we are in a culture and in a space where they title it frenemy.
Yes. Yes.
So they receive the people that they hate, try to befriend them for two reasons. One, so they're left alone, and two, so that they'll know what their enemy is up to. And so we had the saying, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Yes.
They took it to a whole nother level. They hang out with their enemies.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And let me respond to Miss Angel.
No, don't get it.
First of all, I'm getting into it because she doesn't have a mic this time. So hey, so Angel, there's an ongoing trial right now, and they found that everybody who wanted to cancel Tory Lanez, they are looking real stupid right now because they found that Tory Lanez did not shoot our girl. There is no evidence. In fact, come to find out, her so-called best friend was probably the one who shot her because she was trying to get with Tory. See? And it's called Know Your Enemies. But this is how trifling we are.
You're going to have to call us after the show.
Right. But Sheila, straight foolishness. Correct. Because this is what our young people, our young adults are all involved in. But don't sleep, Sheila. We're having issues like this in our church. We just may not be involved or up on the drama. You got this person dating this person behind the scenes. We have to stop worrying about all the noise out here and focus on where we're trying to go. And that's what we're talking about. We gotta decide, what are we going to give up? What idols? What is taking us away from God where we're not seeing him and we're not willing to work in the church? There are so many things you can do. You don't have to always be up front. Trust me, this was not my first, this was nothing that I really wanted to do. But when we got into the pandemic, we had to do something for the area that I'm working for. And so I said, well, I guess I have to go on. I like to be behind the scenes. But and that's one of the reasons why we changed the format to have it where I felt like I was sitting in my living room and I'm talking to some good friends of mine and having people come over that we may not know, but we've gotten to know, and now they're family. Ray Gray is family. I mean, he's from New York. We're going to let that go. But
oh, Mike, you get us in. Damn, we got to take that? Oh, cuz.
Got to throw that in there.
She always hating. She don't like New York, but she always talking about New York,
Always
NYC.
talking about it.
Go to North.
Right. Well, I was with my grandparents. They're New Yorkers, so I'm not hating on New York because I have New York family. Plus, if they heard me, they'd probably be on me now. But where do we draw the line as far as what's acceptable? How are we going to stand up for Christ and show Christ through us? How do people look at us and see that we're different?
It's funny that you mention it and how cultures through time have changed and everything else, because back in the days, for real, when we heard gunshots, we were out. As long as we were like, yo, Pam, you there? Mike, you there? Corinne, you there? Son, you here? All right, let's bounce. Now they run towards the shots. They want to take pictures. They want to see what's going on. Like, what is wrong with these people? And that's how in that Orlando party joint where everybody got hemmed up years back, they was running towards the joint instead of running out. And you see what I'm saying? People being so nosy, so curious, and for whatever. It's just this culture and this time and age is so different. And I love that we have forums like this where we have all different genres, all different age group, all, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just so amazing where my more seasoned individuals keep saying, oh, we had that back in the days. Oh, we had that. There's nothing new under the sun. And I keep telling them, while there's nothing new under the sun done got hotter. Because the foolishness now, oh my goodness. It's beyond me what the homies nowadays is going through, and some of the stuff that I'm actually having to have conversations about. Like, are you serious right now? You honestly don't see anything wrong with that?
Yeah.
Like, it's legit where their brains have literally been fried. And I'm just like, even my own daughter, she was just like, yeah, I see that homosexuality is wrong, but I don't think it's a sin. Wait, what? And that's the conversation we're having now. Yeah, it might be a good idea to wait to get married to have sex, but I don't think it's wrong. You got to test drive before you buy. You know what I'm saying? Wow. These are the conversations, and there's nothing wrong with buying on the Sabbath anymore. There's nothing wrong with watching TV on the Sabbath anymore. There's nothing wrong with going out on the Sabbath anymore, as long as you're in church on Sabbath morning. That's that old Sunday mentality. You see what I'm saying? Where you can do whatever, and you just go to church for 2 hours, or go and say, Father, bless me for I have sinned, and we good. We can go ahead and do whatever. And it's just, we have gone so far that it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I agree with that, because like Errol saying, Satan smart and you haven't seen nothing yet. Angel also said we all grow and evolve. Every generation has and will. It's how we go about it to help straighten it out. And Sheila says, I don't hang out with enemies. I'm too old for these subcultures and garner and live in God's truth. Yes, Ray, I'm now your Auntie Sheila. And then Sheila says, much love. Shout outs to Auntie Phyllis and our Lindo family. Thank you. But you know what? I just want to also say that you're never too old to get knowledge. So I would say to Sheila that, hey, even though we may be more seasoned in our years, still stay up on it, because, you know, like you said, Satan's always smart. He's smarter than us. God created him. You know, he's very intelligent, as we know, but we got to make sure we take care of ourselves, take care of our loved ones, and be on point for what's about to come still.
And you know what? You're saying that, but I'm going back. The reality shows that these kids are watching are exactly what Ray said. When you said, Ray, that your daughter was saying there's nothing wrong, you have to sample before you drive. That's what these reality shows are teaching.
Absolutely. Teaching. Disney. They got all of that in Disney, y'all.
And not just Disney. They have what's this reality something island? I just saw Love Island. This show Love Island. I haven't seen it, but I was watching the new. I was actually watching the news, and they did a promo talking about how if you're with someone, because the guy was breaking it down, saying this is what's coming on the news, and he was saying that people who've been together like 8 years, who haven't committed, trying to see if that promo came on, and they whatever it's called, something island, and they're going on these so-called committed relationships, and they're going on and they're going to be matched with another person being put in the house who in the same situation, but they split the men and the women and they pair them up with somebody else to see if they're going to cheat and switch partners. So at the end, you have to decide whether you're going to go back with the person you've been with or you're going to switch over to this new person.
Yeah, what I was referring to with Disney is like the kids now, they're kissing guys and girls on like 12 years old Disney shows. Yeah. My daughter's 14 and she's seeing this stuff and it's desensitizing her. So she has a lot of, gay friends and she doesn't see anything wrong with it.
But now we just had a law passed here in Florida where you can't say gay.
What?
Oh yeah, you can't say gay. And
so
they
what
just
do you say?
passed it. Governor DeSantis just passed it.
They can't make that decision yet.
Like they can't go and say you have to call me he, her, whatever. You can't say I'm gay. You have to stay within the realms, and they just passed this law in Florida. So whether we see it or not, even though we're trying to take away their choice, they're literally issuing the end. Because when they take away their choice to be able to say, I'm gay, whatever, they're issuing the Sunday blue laws. And we got to be real careful and be mindful of what's going on. Because even though I may agree with it, because it confuses me when you tell me call you he or don't call you he, I got to call you they, them. That's confusing to me because I don't know. I have someone that I work with and they never want to be referred to as she. You have to always refer to them as them.
Well, I tell them they refer to me as king because I'm more of a king than you are a they.
I stay away from it. If I have to say something, I'll call them by name because you can, especially out in the world now, you can be prosecuted. You can be prosecuted for violating their so-called rights and whatever. We have to be really mindful and careful about how we move on, how we move. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. I know that we have gone whatever, but I'm looking at the time. We got to start wrapping it up. I'm so sorry. As usual, we never get to all of it, but I was hoping Pastor would be here, but we're going to do another one. Remember the show, Let's Get Real, comes on the 2nd and 4th. But at this time, I like for everybody to go ahead and start doing their wrap up. And I want to say Toya is not with us. She's off celebrating her birthday. So shout out to Toya. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And I want everybody to go ahead and give their final comments. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Corinne, you want to go first? Or?
Sure. I would just say for everybody, just be aware of what you're putting first in your life and make sure that you have that relationship with God and get back to God at the end of the day. And yeah.
All right.
I'm going to say I am still thinking about what my idol is because I'm sure there's more than one, but it's a good subject that we had today because it makes you go down to really think, what is my idol? And I'm sure I have a couple of them that I need to personally work on. And I'm hoping, pray with me. Hey, Andre.
Andre went and got a put on cologne, put on a new gear. He did all that.
Oh yeah, I had to dress up. I couldn't even find the suit and tie. I had to rush.
Like, if they gonna see me, they gonna see me.
Go ahead, Mike or Pam. Did you finish?
I'm done.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to all those who commented today on the chat. Errol, Marie, Daja, Angel, and
Of course, Angel.
and Sheila. Yes. Well, I guess my final thing would be that hey, just be on point, stay in the word. And I know as humans, our human nature, it is challenging because we get caught up in the day with our jobs and our families and our neighbors, neighborhood. But remember, God is looking for a particular people to come and join him in heaven, and we live for eternity. But just keep the faith and keep strong, and we can with God's direction, we can make this journey home.
I'd like to add that I just appreciate the platform and the forum that we have here, where we can have New York and the rest of the country joining us. You know what I'm saying? Because we know it's all about New York right now. But I'm just saying how we can really literally have so diverse backgrounds, experiences, trauma. We can talk with each other in such frankness and such realness, and we all understand that we're coming in love. Despite the fact that we have to chastise one another, we do it with the auspice of the Holy Spirit and God, understanding our hearts, and we're not taking anything personal. And like you said, Sister Sonia, we're just having a living room conversation and inviting our friends and families in to hear how we would talk if we were just picking up the phone and checking in on one another. So, much love to everyone out there. For all those, Auntie Sheila, I see you, sis. For all those who commented and those who are just watching from wherever and this is going to be sent out for so many others to view. We appreciate the fact that you guys will, from month to month, because I think we're going to be doing this, once a month or once a quarter, Sister Sonia?
We do this, well, we're going to try to work it in where we have him coming in helping us with our health nuggets. But we do the show, Let's Get Real, every second and fourth Sabbath of every month.
Excellent.
But I'll
be here next time.
Okay, and we need to get, I need to get this out to the family. He's been having different shows at different times, but he sends it to me late, family. But I want to get it out there to you so that you can be on when he's giving his mental health things, and we want to support you. I need your contact number to go in there so we can have it for the people. Brother Ray, can you type that in for us so we have your
certainly will. I certainly will. Yes, ma'am.
And while we're doing that, come on, Andre, give us your going away. Come on, Andre.
I did not hear because I have some issues with streams, but I think when it comes to idols, we really just need to learn. We just need to learn what our true priorities are, because at the end of the day, it does come down to, what are your priorities? Do you want to make it to heaven? Do you want to be with God? Do you want to have a relationship with God? Do you want to be a better person through the power of God? Or do you want to just listen to some music in the morning?
I do more than just listen
At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Andre, thank you. Don't be trying to come at me.
All I want to say is, Daja, we got you. We're going to get his information. He's going to put his information in there. If you don't see it this time, we will definitely be running it next time. Because
how do I get it in the chat? I'm trying to put it in the chat.
Okay, he's trying to put it in the chat before we
put it in the private chat. So just
I just copied and pasted.
Appreciate you.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. You have for everybody watching, if you have show ideas that you want us to talk about, please hit me up. What is it, Daughter of Zion? What is it, Andre? The email address for the church?
It is DOZ SDA Webmaster. We'll workshop that one.
Okay.
But yeah, DOZ SDA Webmaster @gmail.
All right. So if you want to send us program ideas, or if you have comments, whatever, we will read them.
Or if you have our personal numbers, just text.
If you got our personal numbers, text us. We love you. Thank you. Peace, joy, as Ray always say. Out.
Peace.